Protectors of the Grid. Chapter 59. The natives are getting restless, Charlie, Ben whispered in her ear. Shouldn't we get this show on the road? Charlie was walking slowly through each tent, scanning the crowd. Have you seen Tara and Will? I can't find them anywhere. No, I haven't seen them since we first got here. Been busy schmoozing. Even with a good 12-inch height advantage, Ben couldn't see them anywhere in the crowd. He frowned, a sudden uneasiness gripping his gut. Weren't we all supposed to go in together? That's what I thought. Charlie's face was tense, too. She grabbed Ben's forearm. Something is wrong, Ben. I feel it. Me too, Charlie. I don't like this at all. Let me think what to do. He rubbed his eyes with the heels of his hands. I'm going inside to find them. You and Patty start organizing everyone. It's a hike from the foyer to the demo bleachers anyhow. Probably 20 minutes or more to get everyone back there and settled. Patty came running over. Ben, if I give 'em any more to drink, they won't make it through the demo. We're starting to lose 'em. Ben's eyes took on a wild look. Charlie placed a gentle hand on his forearm. Ben, stop. Look at me. He did. Choose your thoughts. You know the power in that. Yes, I do, Ben answered quietly, squaring his shoulders. Charlie, help Patty get this thing going. I'm going in now. Turning abruptly, he jogged through the door into the foyer and disappeared. Ben started the first time the motion sensors triggered the lights in the corridor. He paused to let his heart rate settle and immediately noticed a strong pull into the darkness ahead. Will, Tara. His Air Jordans squeaked with every step, but he quickly found his rhythm and jogged on through dark and light into dark. He reached a corner, turned, then stopped dead in his tracks. That's hair on the wall, and a smear of blood. He stepped closer, and blood on the floor. Adrenaline spiked through Ben's system as he searched the tiles. He found scratch marks, Will's prosthesis. What happened to take him down? Ben walked now, every sense alert, pulled relentlessly forward by the image forming in his mind of Will and Tara, both curled in fetal position. He spotted a door and ran to open it. There they were, blinking in the light. Tara was curled in a fetal position, just as he had seen. Will had managed to push himself up against the wall between the mops. He held a knife in his bound hands and was sawing away at the duct tape that bound his ankles. Will looked up at Ben and croaked, "Come help me with this." Ben took the knife and attacked Will's wrists first. He had cut halfway through when Will strained his arms apart as hard as he could. The tape stretched, then tore, and Will could unwrap the remaining fragments, freeing his hands. "Give me that," he croaked and went to work on the tape binding his ankles. Ben moved over to Tara, setting her up gently against the other wall. "Who did this?" Ben demanded. Will shook his head and kept sawing at his bonds. "Langley." The word exploded out of Tara. Ben stared. "That's impossible. We would have seen him." Will had paused and was staring at Tara as well. "He's disguised," she declared. "Disguised? How?" Ben demanded. "He shaved his hair and eyebrows." Both men continued to stare. "Hurry," Tara hissed. The knife pierced the bonds on Will's ankles. He handed it to Ben, who started on Tara's bonds while Will pulled off the rest of the gooey silver web. He groaned as he struggled to his feet, held his stomach gingerly, and straightened slowly. Ben frowned but sawed harder, freeing Tara's hands, and interminable moments later her ankles. She too rose carefully. "I'm too old for this, and it isn't even official police work. Maybe I should think about early retirement." As appealing as the idea was, she couldn't dwell on it now. Tara refocused and came back to center. She grabbed Ben's arm. "Listen, Langley has a goon with him, a sumo wrestler type who moves quick as a rattlesnake. They've gone on to the demo area. They're dangerous, Ben. Look at Will's neck." Ben looked and saw the puncture with dried blood crusted on the edges. Smears of blood stained the collar of his shirt. He looked at the knife in his hand. "Where did you get this?" "Boot," Will replied tersely as he pushed Ben and Tara through the door to the hall and hurried into the darkness with them right behind him. They were all jogging now, moving rapidly through the light, dark sections of the corridor. Far behind them, the footsteps and chatter of a crowd of people began to echo down the hall. Ahead of them, nothing sounded to give them a clue what they were running into, but the darkness became increasingly less dense. Then the corridor spilled into a huge open space lit by sunlight streaming through skylights 4 stories above. They saw the rows of bleachers beside the foot-thick transparent wall of the testing container. The transparent wall of the inner box rose to within a foot of the ceiling and stretched on either side to encompass 4/5 of the acre-big building. The control room was situated between what would have been the second and third story, and was accessed by a flight of metal stairs. The sides were the same transparent material as the test box, but unlike the test box, here there was no ceiling. Lights glowed faintly on the sides of equipment cabinets and from the control panel in the room above them. At the mouth of the opening, they stopped, scanning for any sign of the men they knew must be hiding nearby, listening for any kind of clue as to direction. Nothing moved, nothing sounded. Should we split up to find them? Ben wondered. No, Will and Tara shouted in unison. We stick together. It's the only chance we have to deal with them when we do find them. Ben nodded, and the 3 moved cautiously forward, every sense on full alert. Behind them, a sudden increase in noise told them that the crowd of spectators had turned the corner. They reached the flight of stairs to the control room but did not climb, continuing their search on the main floor all the way to the end of the bank of bleachers. Nothing. They've got to be here somewhere, Tara worried. There is no other access on this side of the test container. Is there access from another side? Ben shrugged and shook his head. Dunno. First time here. Even if there is access on the other side, in a facility this big, we wouldn't catch up with them. Besides, the control room is here, so here's where the action will be. Will was worried, too, and angrier with every passing moment, especially when a stab of pain coursed through his battered body every time he moved. The approaching wall of noise was beginning to separate into fragments of conversation and the mild thunder of footfalls. They're almost here. Ben's nerves were stretched taut. Sounds almost like an effing stampede, just slower. He returned to the staircase and began to climb. When he was about 6 steps up, Tara stopped him. Ben, you have to greet the audience before you climb to the control booth. That's a good spot, right there, where everybody can see you. You can say a few words, get Charlie up there to share the spotlight, then both of you climb up to the control room. Ben nodded and gripped the safety rail to steady himself. Y'all come up too. Tara saw a tremor run through his body and sweat bead on his upper lip. Will saw them too. They almost agreed, but after a moment, both shook their heads. No, we can keep an eye on things better from down here. We'll be holding the energy around you, Ben, Tara winked. Stage fright, Ben. The only way out is through. They both laughed when Ben thrust out his chest and ran a hand through his hair like a matinee idol preening before a show. He gave them a thumbs up just as the crowd burst out of the corridor and spilled into the open space.